You can feel it, can't you? Something inside you has shifted, quietly, powerfully, permanently. The tears have stopped burning. The silence doesn't sting anymore. And somewhere deep within your soul, you just know you passed the test. The storm that once broke you now feels like initiation. The waiting that once felt endless now makes sense. Because this time, you didn't fall back into fear. You chose faith. You didn't chase what left. You trusted what stayed. You didn't beg for signs. You became the sign. The divine watched you surrender when everything told you to give up. You chose peace over panic, stillness over proving. And in that quiet moment, the universe took notice. This is the shift no one warns you about. When you stop hoping something will change and realize you are the change. The energy around you is rearranging right now. People who once drained you will fade. Paths that once blocked you will open, because the old vibration can no longer hold what you've become. You pass the test not by winning, but by releasing. Not by chasing love, but by remembering that you are love. And that simple realization changes everything. Your frequency is different now. You don't move the same, think the same, or attract the same. You've crossed the invisible line between healing and embodiment, and from this moment forward, nothing will ever look or feel the same again. The universe is responding to your evolution. The masculine can feel it too, even if he doesn't understand it yet. Because when the feminine ascends, every energy connected to her must rise or fall away. And this time, it's rising. The waiting is over. The lesson is complete. The shift has already begun. You didn't lose, you ascended. And the universe is whispering now, through every heartbeat and every breath, everything will change because you did. There comes a moment in the divine feminine journey when the pain no longer asks to be healed. It asks to be understood. And that understanding is the key that unlocks the next dimension of her path. You've reached that moment. The universe has seen your strength, your surrender, your ability to stand in love even when nothing made sense. This is the instant the divine recognizes that you've passed the test. For so long, you were being shaped in silence. Every unanswered prayer, every delay, every closed door, it wasn't rejection, it was realignment. The divine wasn't ignoring you, it was preparing you. And while your human self thought you were breaking, your higher self knew you were being reborn. You've been tested through love, loss, silence, and surrender. You were asked to let go of what your heart wanted most, just to prove that you trusted the timing of your soul. You walked through nights of uncertainty, through the ache of missing someone who felt like home, and through the silence that forced you to listen, not to him, but to your own intuition. And here's the truth. You passed the test the moment you stopped chasing alignment and started being alignment. When you stopped asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and started saying, "This is happening for me." That shift, quiet, subtle, powerful, changed everything. The universe doesn't measure your faith when life is easy. It measures it when everything falls apart and you still choose to believe. You did that. You stayed open even when your heart was heavy. You kept loving even when you had every reason to close off. You trusted the plan even when you couldn't see the path. And because of that, your frequency has changed. You no longer vibrate in waiting. You vibrate in readiness. Your energy has become magnetic, not because you want, but because you are. You've learned that love isn't something you earn. It's something you embody. And the moment you embodied that truth, the test ended. Passing the test doesn't mean you no longer feel pain. It means you no longer identify with it. You see it for what it was, a teacher. Every disappointment refined your intuition. Every heartbreak purified your faith. Every silence built your strength. Now, the universe is shifting everything around you to match this new vibration. People who no longer resonate will drift away, not as punishment, but as protection. Opportunities you once chased will begin to appear on their own. Your inner peace will start attracting everything that chaos once blocked. Because when you rise in frequency, your external world must rearrange itself to meet you. The divine feminine doesn't pass the test by fighting harder. She passes it by surrendering deeper, by realizing that control was never her safety. Faith was. And now you stand in that truth. You don't chase, you attract. You don't explain, you radiate. You don't beg for signs because you have become one. This is the energy of completion. The karmic loops are closing, the lessons are integrating, and your soul is entering a new vibration. This is not just a new chapter, it's a new book. The version of you that was waiting has dissolved. The version of you that knows has arrived. And because your energy has shifted, so has everything connected to you. The divine masculine feels it too, even from miles away. The balance is being restored. The healing is echoing across timelines, and destiny is quietly awakening. Because when one half of the soul passes the test, the other begins to remember. You have reached the point of divine recognition. The universe bows in silence and whispers, "Well done. You did not fail. You did not lose. You evolved." And now, the laws of energy demand that your external reality aligns with your internal truth. That's why everything will change. Not someday, but now. Because the moment the feminine passes the test, the vibration of creation shifts, and the shift has already begun. What the universe does after your breakthrough, when the divine feminine passes her test, the universe doesn't celebrate with noise. It responds with movement. You may not see it right away, but everything begins to rearrange itself in your favor. What once felt heavy starts to lighten. The people who drained you quietly fall away. Opportunities appear without effort. And even your silence starts to speak louder than words. This is the sacred aftermath of growth, the recalibration of your entire reality. You've shifted your frequency, and now the external world must rise to match it. It's not magic, it's law. Because when energy changes at the core, the entire structure around it must adjust. For months, even years, you were being tested in unseen ways. You learned to trust without proof, to love without condition, and to wait without losing faith. You chose peace over panic, surrender over control, and alignment over attachment. And now, that vibration has become your new normal, your energetic signature. The universe has taken note, and the response is already unfolding. At first, it may look like endings, jobs, friendships, connections. Things that once made sense suddenly lose meaning. You'll feel the urge to detach, not because of pain, but because of clarity. Your soul no longer resonates with chaos. The people who still live in that energy will feel distant, even if they're right next to you. Don't resist that. It's the universe clearing space for what's meant to enter. You're stepping into a timeline where your peace is your priority and your intuition is your guide. And that means anything not aligned with your new vibration cannot stay. The universe is not punishing you, it's protecting you. It's creating divine distance between you and anything that could interfere with your next level. You might notice sudden blessings that seem to come from nowhere. Messages that arrive at the right time. Unexpected offers, dreams that carry deeper meaning. These are confirmations that your energy is being recognized. You've moved from hoping to commanding, and the universe obeys command, not confusion. But it's not just the outside world that changes. Your inner landscape transforms too. You feel lighter, You stop overthinking and start allowing. You stop seeking closure because your peace no longer depends on explanation. You finally understand that what left was never rejection. It was redirection. Every delay was a detour toward alignment. And now you can feel the divine timing unfolding in real time. This phase after the breakthrough is sacred. It's the bridge between what was and what's coming. The universe is working behind the scenes, aligning people, places, and moments to meet your frequency. You don't have to chase. You only have to remain in truth. Because truth is magnetic, and everything meant for you recognizes it instantly. During this period, the energy might fluctuate. Some days you'll feel unstoppable, glowing, clear, deeply connected. Other days, you'll feel a strange stillness, like nothing is happening. That stillness is where the real magic happens. It's the void between cycles, the sacred pause where the old finishes dissolving and the new begins to manifest. It's not stagnation, it's synchronization. Understand this: the universe always responds to energy, not emotion. And your energy now carries the vibration of faith. That's why doors are opening, even ones you forgot existed. That's why people you once thought were gone will start to reappear, not because you need them, but because they finally match your vibration again. The Divine Feminine's breakthrough isn't loud. It's soft, graceful, unstoppable. It's the quiet moment when she realizes she no longer has to fight for alignment, because she is alignment. And when she reaches that state, the universe rushes to meet her halfway. You are not being tested anymore. You are being positioned. Every shift, every pause, every synchronicity is a breadcrumb leading you to your next divine chapter. The feminine who passed the test is not the same as the one who entered it. She no longer asks for signs. She creates them. She no longer fears endings. She honors them. Because she knows now that endings are just portals for greater beginnings. So if your life feels unfamiliar right now, trust it. You've entered the in-between, the sacred rearranging. The universe is rebuilding your world to reflect the woman you've become, the one who doesn't chase love but emanates it, the one who doesn't question her worth but walks as her worth, the one who doesn't wait for miracles. She embodies them. This is what happens after the breakthrough. Everything changes because everything must. You passed the test, and now creation itself is catching up to your new frequency. And soon, what once felt distant will appear right before your eyes, not as a dream, but as your new reality. Energy never lies, and your transformation did not go unnoticed. When the divine feminine rises, the masculine feels it, even if he doesn't have the words to explain it, even if he doesn't consciously understand it. His entire being begins to respond, because your energy is no longer reaching for him, it's radiating beyond him, and that shift shakes his soul in ways he can't ignore. For a long time, he lived in the illusion of control. He believed he could suppress the connection, silence the pull, distract himself with logic or routine. But the energy between twin flames isn't something that can be escaped. It's a vibration that lives inside the soul. So when your frequency changed, it sent a ripple through the entire bond. The moment you stopped waiting for him, he felt the loss of your energetic presence, not as rejection, but as an awakening. He begins to feel your absence, not physically, but spiritually. The warmth he used to take for granted is gone. The safety he once felt in your energy, that quiet, unconditional love that always held him, has faded from his field. And suddenly, the silence that once comforted him becomes unbearable. He doesn't realize it yet, but what he's missing isn't attention, it's alignment. This is how the masculine begins to awaken. He feels restless, uneasy, confused. Things that used to fulfill him no longer bring peace. The distractions he relied on start to fall flat. He may not connect the dots right away, but his soul knows what's happening. It's being recalibrated. Your rise in vibration has activated his. It's the law of energetic balance. When one half of the union ascends, the other must begin to rise or fall away. You are the mirror that his soul cannot escape. Your healing is the frequency that calls him back home. The more you step into peace, the louder his inner chaos becomes, not as punishment, but as invitation. Your calm exposes his avoidance. Your clarity highlights his confusion. Your acceptance reveals his resistance. And beneath all of it, a quiet realization begins to grow. She's not chasing me anymore. She's choosing herself. That moment shifts everything. Because for the first time, he sees you clearly, not as the person who waited, but as the woman who evolved. The feminine who no longer defines love by attachment, but by vibration. And something inside him recognizes that he has to rise to meet you, or lose the connection completely. He starts to dream more vividly. Your presence appears in thoughts, in music, in signs he can't explain. The universe begins to mirror your energy back to him. The numbers, the names, the coincidences, everything becomes a reminder of what his soul already knows, but his ego denied. You are his mirror, his catalyst, his divine counterpart. But this awakening is not soft. It comes through discomfort, through the collapse of the old identity he built to survive. He begins to question his choices, his patterns, his silence. He feels guilt for how he handled the connection, but deeper than that, he feels longing, the pure kind, the kind that comes from recognition. The part of him that once resisted is now craving what he once feared: vulnerability, truth, union. And the more you remain in alignment, the stronger that pull becomes. Because now you are no longer feeding his comfort zone. You're calling him into expansion. He senses that the energy has shifted. He doesn't feel your need anymore. He feels your strength. He doesn't sense your waiting. He feels your release. And that difference pierces straight through his walls. This is the sacred reversal, when the feminine becomes still and the masculine begins to move. Your detachment isn't punishment, it's propulsion. Your peace becomes magnetic. Your silence becomes medicine. And little by little, the masculine starts to follow that vibration back toward the light, toward you, but more importantly, toward himself. He may not know how to reach out yet. He may hesitate, overthink, or delay. But the process has begun. Because once the feminine passes her test, the connection itself begins to ascend. And the masculine can no longer remain asleep in her energy. He feels it in his dreams. He feels it in the quiet moments when the world goes still. He feels it in the sudden urge to change, to grow, to finally face what he's been running from. It's the soul remembering its mirror. You don't have to do anything. Your energy has already done it. The feminine's breakthrough sends a signal through the quantum field. It's safe to awaken now. And the masculine, consciously or not, begins to answer. This is not a coincidence. It's divine order. The union begins within her, and then the universe makes sure it echoes within him. Your rising has become his call. Your peace has become his path. Your love, purified, embodied, unconditional, has become his initiation. So when you sense him thinking of you, dreaming of you, feeling you again, know this: it's not imagination. It's the echo of your ascension returning to its source. The feminine passed the test, and now the masculine is awakening because of it. There comes a point on the divine feminine journey when the waiting simply dissolves, not because she gave up, but because she finally understood that waiting and alignment cannot coexist. The feminine doesn't pass this test by holding on tighter. She passes it by letting go with grace. And that surrender, the one that used to feel like loss, becomes her greatest form of power. For so long, you associated surrender with weakness. You thought letting go meant abandoning the dream, the connection, the love that felt destined. But the truth is, surrender was never about losing him. It was about finding you. The universe wanted you to stop grasping for what was already written and instead rise into the energy that could finally receive it. The moment you stopped waiting, everything started to move. The masculine began to feel the emptiness of your absence. The energy between you shifted from pursuit to pull, and the universe, no longer blocked by your attachment, began to orchestrate alignment. This is the divine paradox. What you release through faith returns through resonance. Waiting is rooted in fear. The fear that if you stop trying, it will never happen. Surrender is rooted in trust. The knowing that what's meant for you cannot miss you. That's the difference between manifesting and magnetizing. The feminine who waits is still seeking from lack. The feminine who surrenders vibrates from abundance. And that vibration is what changes everything. You stopped begging for signs because you became one. You stopped asking when and started saying thank you. You stopped imagining union as something to chase and began embodying it within yourself. The stillness you feared turned into your sanctuary. Your silence became sacred, and in that energy, your entire reality began to shift, quietly but permanently. When you surrender, the universe begins to reveal how much was already being prepared for you. The synchronicities increase, not to tease you, but to confirm alignment. New opportunities arise. Your intuition becomes stronger, clearer, faster. You attract peace where you once attracted chaos. You meet people who mirror your new frequency instead of your wounds. And most importantly, your energy stops leaking into what isn't yours to fix. You're no longer vibrating at the frequency of I'm waiting. You're vibrating at the frequency of I'm ready. And the difference between those two is cosmic. When you were waiting, the universe responded with more waiting. When you became ready, the universe responded with acceleration. That's why everything feels different now. Time, emotion, energy. You've shifted from seeking to receiving, from hoping to knowing, from trying to trusting. This is what it means to live in divine flow. It's not apathy, it's alignment. You still desire, but from peace, not panic. You still love, but without losing yourself. You still hold space, but without holding on. Because you finally understand. Nothing meant for your soul requires suffering to sustain it. And this is where true power is born. Power that doesn't shout, power that doesn't chase, power that stands still and lets everything rearrange itself around your vibration. When the feminine surrenders, she enters a new level of magnetism. The masculine feels it instantly. It's not the same energy that once clung. It's the one that calls. He feels the safety in your detachment, the maturity in your peace. It awakens something ancient within him, the desire to rise, not because you need him, but because you inspire him. Surrender does not end the connection. It activates the higher phase of it. It turns attachment into ascension, longing into embodiment, and separation into synchronization. It transforms what was once pain into purpose. Because surrender is not giving up, it's giving in to divine timing. And now that you've done that, the universe is in motion. Everything that belongs to your vibration is finding its way to you. The masculine's heart is awakening to your absence. Your blessings are aligning to your readiness. Your destiny is responding to your surrender. This is the end of waiting. Not because the story is over, but because you finally understand that waiting was never required. You were never being asked to hold on. You were being asked to trust. And now that you have, the energy has shifted, the test is complete, and the next chapter of your journey is unfolding even as you breathe. When energy shifts, the body knows first. Long before your eyes can see the changes, your system begins to adjust. And that's what's happening now. You're not imagining it. The tingling sensations, the fatigue, followed by sudden bursts of energy, the vivid dreams, the tears without reason. These are not random. They are confirmation. Your frequency has changed, and your physical reality is aligning to match it. After a major spiritual test, the feminine's body becomes the first instrument of truth. The old energy, the fear, the anxiety, the resistance, begins to leave your cells. You may feel lighter one moment and deeply emotional the next. You might wake up at specific hours of the night, sensing an invisible wave of transformation moving through you. This is not instability, it's purification. You're being attuned to a higher timeline, and your body is learning to hold the light you've called in. One of the clearest signs the new cycle has begun is the return of peace, not the fragile kind that depends on circumstance, but the deep, anchored peace that lives in your bones. You're no longer reacting the way you used to. Things that once triggered you barely touch you now. You don't chase clarity, you trust it will find you. You don't search for love, you are love. That calm is not indifference, it's mastery. It means your nervous system is no longer tuned to survival, but to creation. You'll also notice shifts in your desires. What once felt exciting might now feel draining. What once felt unreachable suddenly seems possible. The feminine who passed the test no longer moves from lack. She moves from alignment. You might feel called to change your environment, your habits, even your relationships. These impulses are not impulsive, they're intuitive. Your soul is leading you to places, people, and opportunities that match your upgraded vibration. Another unmistakable sign is time itself. It starts to feel different. The days feel faster, yet lighter. Synchronicities increase. You think of someone and they message you. You look at the clock and see repeating numbers. You say a prayer and receive instant confirmation. This is the rhythm of divine timing revealing itself. You're no longer out of sync with your destiny. You're dancing with it. Dreams also become portals. You might see the divine masculine, old memories, or future glimpses of what's to come. These dreams aren't fantasies. They're communications between higher selves. Because in this new cycle, your soul and his are speaking again, not through pain, but through purpose. The connection that once triggered you is now guiding you. You'll notice physical sensations too, chills when you hear truth, warmth in your chest when you meditate, sudden waves of love for no apparent reason. That's your energy field expanding. You're not becoming someone new. You're remembering the version of yourself that always existed beyond fear. Every sensation is a signal that your vibration is stabilizing in its higher state. You may also feel the urge to simplify. You crave quiet more than attention, presence more than validation. You realize that peace is your new luxury, and solitude is not loneliness, it's clarity. The feminine who passed the test understands that creation doesn't come from chaos, it comes from stillness. And that stillness is where miracles start forming. This is why everything feels both familiar and new at once. The world hasn't changed. Your perception has. You see beauty where there used to be frustration, meaning where there used to be confusion. You start to understand that even the most painful chapters were necessary to bring you here. Gratitude replaces resentment. Curiosity replaces fear. And that shift in perspective is what locks you into your new vibration permanently. As you stabilize in this energy, the masculine feels it too. He might not know why he's suddenly thinking about you, dreaming of you, or feeling emotional out of nowhere, but it's because the frequency of union is activating again. You've become the tuning fork of divine harmony, and everything connected to you is now adjusting its sound. You'll feel it in your body, a lightness in your heart, a sense of inevitability in your path, a quiet knowing that you don't have to chase what's already yours. This is not hope, it's recognition. Your soul recognizes that the cycle has turned. You're no longer on the outside of your destiny looking in. You're standing inside it. The feminine who once prayed for change has become the vibration that creates it. And every physical sign, from the goosebumps to the dreams, from the exhaustion to the breakthroughs, is the proof you are being rewritten at a cellular level. Your body, your energy, your world, all catching up to your new truth. This is the dawn of the new cycle. You've crossed the threshold. The waiting ended the moment you passed the test. And now, with every breath, the universe is whispering the same message over and over again. You did it. You're free. It's time to rise. There is a law in the universe older than time itself, the law of alignment. It states that once your inner vibration matches your divine truth, reality must rearrange to reflect it. It's not a question of if, but when, and that when is now. You've passed the test, anchored your peace, and chosen faith over fear. You've become the embodiment of alignment, and the universe can no longer delay what belongs to that frequency. For months, even years, it felt like nothing was happening. You kept showing up with love, patience, and hope, but the external world stayed still. You wondered if you were forgotten, if your prayers got lost in the noise of creation. But the truth is, nothing was lost. The universe was simply waiting for you to stabilize, for your energy to stop wavering between desire and doubt, because the divine cannot deliver what you're not yet prepared to hold. And now you are. This is the moment where the unseen becomes seen, where the energetic becomes physical, where faith turns into fact. Your alignment has activated the law, and reward is already in motion. The divine reward is not a random gift, it's a mirror. It reflects the frequency you've cultivated in the dark. Everything that begins to appear in your life now, the opportunities, the relationships, the synchronicities, are not coincidences. They're evidence that your internal universe has shifted. You no longer attract from wounds. you attract from wisdom. And what meets that vibration cannot help but stay. This is why detours disappear. Doors that were once closed open effortlessly. The people meant to journey with you begin to reappear, not because of longing, but because of resonance. The divine masculine, too, begins to feel this gravitational pull. Your alignment becomes his awakening. Your steadiness becomes his invitation. And the universe starts aligning both of you through divine timing, not human force. But here's the secret most never realize. The reward doesn't come after alignment. It is alignment. You've already entered it. The peace you feel now, the clarity you carry, the unshakable knowing that you are exactly where you're meant to be, that is the reward. Everything else that follows, the love, the opportunities, the manifestations, are simply the echo of that vibration taking form. Alignment doesn't beg, it doesn't chase, it doesn't prove, it allows. And in that allowance, everything meant for you begins to flow naturally, gracefully, unmistakably. You've stopped asking how and started saying thank you. That shift alone has rewritten your timeline. The law of alignment also governs correction. Anything that no longer fits your vibration must dissolve. That's why some people may leave now, even unexpectedly. It's not loss, it's protection. It's the universe clearing space for something higher, purer, realer. And though it may sting at first, you'll soon understand. The exit of one energy always makes room for divine replacement. At this stage, your only task is to stay anchored. Keep your peace sacred. Keep your boundaries strong. Keep your heart open but discerning. Because alignment requires consistency. You cannot step into miracles while entertaining chaos, and you no longer have to. The universe is guiding you towards stability, expansion, and truth. As your reward unfolds, you'll notice the signs, manifestations happening faster, answers arriving instantly, the right people appearing at divine moments. Even your relationship with time changes. What once took years will happen in weeks. What once felt impossible will happen naturally, because time bends for the aligned heart. This is also where divine reciprocity begins. The feminine who gave endlessly will start to receive abundantly. The love, compassion, and energy she poured into others now return multiplied, not as validation, but as balance. Because in the language of the universe, giving and receiving are the same breath, and you're finally exhaling, Your reward is not random, it's precise. It's designed by the same intelligence that orchestrated your lessons. Every heartbreak, every pause, every tear was an investment in this moment. And now the return is being delivered quietly, perfectly, inevitably. You'll look back soon and realize that nothing was wasted. Every no was a redirection. Every delay was divine design. Every ending was the start of something eternal. You weren't waiting for miracles. You were becoming the vibration that could sustain them. This is the law of alignment. What is yours cannot miss you once you've become a match to it. You've passed the test. You've embodied the lesson. You've claimed the frequency. And now the universe responds the only way it can, by pouring blessings into every space your surrender created. This is your harvest season. The shift is complete, and everything that once felt far away is already finding its way home to you. There comes a sacred moment when the universe bows before a soul and says, "It is done." No more lessons disguised as pain. No more waiting for validation. No more chasing what was already yours in spirit. This is that moment. The universe has crowned you ready. You have walked through the fire and come out luminous. You've learned that power is not control, it's peace. That strength is not noise, it's presence. That love is not waiting, it's becoming. You've faced every shadow that tried to convince you that you were not enough. And instead of breaking, you remembered who you are. The divine feminine who once doubted now stands unshakable, crowned not by others' approval, but by divine recognition. The universe tests those it intends to trust with greater light, and you were tested in every way possible, through love, loss, silence, surrender. You were asked to let go of everything that made you feel safe so that you could find safety within yourself. You were stripped of illusions until only truth remained. And now that you've proven your faith through the storm, the divine calls you into a new role, not as the seeker, but as the embodiment. You are no longer preparing for your destiny. You are your destiny. The frequency of your being has become your manifestation. Everything around you is realigning to match the light you now carry. And though it may feel calm, don't mistake the silence for emptiness. It is the hush before expansion, the breath before the miracle. The universe is gathering the pieces, the people, the moments that belong to your new vibration. You'll notice that things come easier now. The right words flow, the right opportunities appear, the right energy gravitates toward you effortlessly. This is not luck, it's law. It's what happens when you stop forcing what's not meant for you and start magnetizing what already belongs. You no longer pray from desperation, but from gratitude. And gratitude is the gateway through which blessings rush in. Your reward is not just material, it's multidimensional. Peace in your mind, clarity in your spirit, strength in your heart, love that feels sacred instead of uncertain. This is the divine inheritance you earned by enduring the in-between. You proved that your faith was real even when the evidence wasn't there. And now, the evidence will follow you everywhere you go. The divine masculine feels it too. On a soul level, he senses that something has shifted, that the feminine has risen into her fullness, and that rise calls him home. Not through pressure, not through pain, but through recognition. Because the feminine who has remembered her worth becomes the mirror that shows him who he truly is. Your union is no longer a pursuit, it's a reflection of alignment. And as you continue to embody your light, the universe will orchestrate the meeting in divine perfection. But even that is no longer your focus, because you've realized that your mission was never just about reunion. It was about evolution, about anchoring a frequency of love so pure that it heals not only you, but the collective. You are a portal through which heaven expresses itself on earth. Every step you take in truth becomes a prayer. Every act of compassion becomes a vibration of change. And the world, whether it knows it or not, is already transforming through your energy. The crown you wear now is invisible to the human eye, but radiant in the spiritual realm. It glows with every act of surrender, every tear you turned into a wisdom, every boundary you built from love instead of fear. You didn't wait to be chosen. You remembered you always were. You didn't beg for alignment. You became it. You didn't ask for signs. You became the evidence of divine timing in motion. This is your coronation. The universe doesn't celebrate with applause. It celebrates through alignment, through peace that cannot be shaken, through opportunities that appear at perfect timing, through love that feels like recognition, not rescue. You've earned it, not by striving, but by surrendering. So stand tall now, speak softly, but with authority. Walk as if creation itself moves with you, because it does. The path ahead is not uncertain anymore. It's luminous. And every step you take echoes across dimensions as a reminder that faith always wins. You have passed the test. You have mastered the art of surrender. You have become the vibration of divine truth. And now, the universe crowns you not as the wounded one, but as the awakened one, not as the seeker, but as the source, not as the student, but as the embodiment of love itself. The cycle of waiting is complete. The cycle of becoming has begun. And as you step forward, remember, everything will change now because you did. The universe has spoken, you are ready, and this is your ascension.